Hi everyone, and thank you so much for joining. This is a video that I've really been looking forward to. I am so excited about this and I'm really excited to see how they turn out. So today we're going to be making Mother's Day bird feeders, and the reason I'm filming this so early is so that you have time to go out and get the ingredients that you're going to need for this video. Now I'm going to start by saying what I have in front of me here. So what you'll need for this is half a cup of water. You will need some cornstarch. You will need 4 cups of birdseed, and you will need flour. And extra stuff that I have in front of me are some cookie cutters, and behind me here that I don't think you can see, I have cookie sheets. I have 2 cookie sheets, each lined with wax paper. Okay, so I have just put down, I'm going to show you, I've just put down some wax paper onto my cookie sheets like that, and I've got 2 of those. And I also have some string, but we're actually not going to be needing this until later. And then another thing that I have is a wooden skewer. You can also use a straw or anything that would be able to poke a hole into something. You'll see later why we're gonna need this. So yeah, I'm really excited about this recipe, and I really hope that you get a chance to follow along with me, and let's get started. So for these homemade bird feeders, we are going to start by putting flour, water, and cornstarch into our bowl, okay? So flour, we need 3/4 of flour. So right here I've got my 4th cup measuring cup. I'm just gonna scoop in my flour, and for 3/4 we need 3 of these. So you're gonna take your 1/4 cup and you're gonna measure 3 of those. I did level off with my knife, as you can see. So there's 1. Scooping in my second one, level it off. There's 2. And this is my 3rd one. Again, this is a super easy recipe. There's not a whole lot of ingredients that you need, but I did want to give you some time to venture out and buy yourself some birdseed. Okay, so that's it for the flour. Now what we need is half a cup of water. So I have already measured out half a cup of water here, and I'm just going to pour it in my bowl. Half a cup of water, and we need 3 tablespoons of corn syrup. Okay, so corn syrup looks like that. 3 tablespoons. Now corn syrup is quite thick and sticky, so I have actually grabbed a spatula just in case I need it to scrape it off the tablespoon. So there's 1 tablespoon. Just gonna scrape that off. There's my 1 tablespoon. There's my 2nd tablespoon. This is super easy to make. I'm really excited that you're following along with me today, and your moms are gonna really love this as a gift. And there is my 3rd. Or even just for yourself. This is great to make for yourself or any one of your parents or guardians. Perfect. So that was 3 tablespoons of corn syrup. I'm just gonna put that aside. Now, I do have a wooden spoon here, so I'm going to start mixing until I feel like it's combined. Now, with this, you'll see later on that we actually are going to need to let our bird feeders sit for quite some time. So you could even let them sit overnight, but we'll get to that later. Okay, so you're just gonna mix it until you feel like it's combined. I feel like that's pretty good. Okay. Next, we are going to add our 4 cups of birdseed. 4 cups, okay? So I'm just gonna grab my birdseed here. I have a 1 cup measuring cup here. I'm just gonna scoop it in my bowl, kind of shake it out to level it. So there's 1 cup. I'm just gonna grab this spoon here to just be as exact as possible. There's 2. I'm just gonna slowly scoop it in here, shake it out to level it. There's 3. So this recipe, it does make quite a bit of bird feeders, which is great because if you have multiple trees in your yard, you can hang them on multiple different trees. And I'm on my last cup here, my 4th cup. Okay, so there's my 4th cup. Surprisingly, we're actually almost done. So it really doesn't take that long to make, it just takes some time to set. So I'm just gonna mix this all together until I feel like it's nicely combined. Now, it will be kind of maybe a little bit wet and sticky. That's okay because we're gonna be letting it dry out. But if you'd like to, you can add a tiny bit more birdseed if you're concerned about it, but it should work out perfectly fine. Okay. So, this is what I'm left with. That's what it looks like, and that looks really good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab one of my wax paper sheets here that's on my cookie sheet, and I'm actually just going to pour my mixture directly on to this cookie sheet. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of filling here. So it's gonna actually make quite a lot. I'm just gonna put my bowl aside here. Okay, so we do need to flatten this out. So I'm gonna start by using my wooden spoon, and you actually want to get it so that it's about 1/2 inch thick. So you're slowly going to just spread it apart here. You don't want it too thick, that's really important. If it's easier for you, go ahead and use your hands. But I think I'm okay with a wooden spoon here. Okay, so I've patted it down here, nice and good. Okay, I think that's about 1/2 inch thick. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab some cookie cutters. It can be any shape you want. For me, I chose to grab a tree and I chose a star. Now, I think the best way to do this is we are going to cut out little shapes here with our bird seed, and then you're actually going to use your skewer or straw, whatever you have that you're gonna make holes out of, and we're gonna poke a hole afterwards. Okay, so follow along with me if you can. I'm gonna start with my tree. Just as if we were making actual cookies, I'm going to press down like that. And did you see how I kind of wiggled my cookie cutter a little bit? I kind of wiggled it, made sure I got all the way to the bottom here. Awesome. So it might be a little bit hard to see, but that's okay. Just follow along. I'm going to do a couple stars. There's one star. Here's a second star. I'm gonna do a third star over here. And I'm gonna do a couple more trees. I know it's really hard to see probably from the camera, but I'll try and show you close up in just a minute here. Okay, so I think that's how many I'm gonna make for now. And if I can try and show you up close here, you can kind of see where they've been cut out. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to take my skewer here, or if you have a straw, take your straw, and I'm actually just going to poke in the top a little hole. It's quite a wet kind of dough we have, so it doesn't take much to poke a hole. Just until there's a little something, until you can kind of see the bottom of your cookie sheet. So you're gonna do that on all of them. I know that's probably very hard for you to see, but what I've done is I have just poked holes into my little shapes here. Now it's kind of a waiting game. You're actually going to let this dry for a whole 8 hours. Now, what I suggest you do is at the 4-hour mark, you're going to take a flipper and you are going to flip them over upside down, okay? And when you go to flip them the first time, feel free to put them on a separate sheet of wax paper and cookie sheet. And the reason you want to flip them over is so that they dry completely on both sides. Now, if you tried to transfer them onto a different cookie sheet right now, it would be too wet to do so. But at around the 4-hour mark, you should be able to flip them over and transfer them because they will be quite dry by that point, okay? So I'm gonna let these dry and I'm going to come back to show you the results. Hi everyone, so if you're still watching, we are now at the 4-hour mark. So what I have actually done is on my cookie sheet, I very carefully broke away the birdseed that was surrounding my cutout shapes. And very, very carefully, I took a flipper and I very gently lifted up my cutout shapes and I flipped them upside down and transferred them onto a separate cookie sheet with wax paper. Now I'm actually going to leave these here for another 4 hours until they are completely dry and completely hard. And as you can see on the bottom right of your screen, I actually also went back and added in some circles. Now, after doing that, I actually really highly recommend them because it's very simple And also, they hold their shape really well, as you can see. So I do recommend throwing in some circles into your shapes, but please add some fun shapes as well, like trees and stars and anything else that you might have. But yes, please know that I do highly recommend circles for this, as they seem to work very nicely. But don't forget to poke a hole at the top or in the center of your ornament, wherever you'd like, so that you can attach a string later on. So I will see you in 4 hours. Okay everyone, it has been another 4 hours. So in total, my bird feeders have been drying for a total of 8 hours. Now, at this point, my bird feeders are relatively hard and easy to handle. If you get to the 8-hour point and you still feel like they need to harden more, that's perfectly fine. You can actually let them sit overnight to harden, because the harder they are, the better and easier it will be to hang from your trees. Now, for this part of the video, I'm going to show you how to attach a string onto your bird feeders. So I'm actually just going to do one, and then you can do the rest on your own. Now, I'm actually going to take a relatively long piece of string for this. And the reason for that is because the longer your loop, the easier it's going to be to attach to a tree branch. So about that long, so quite long. Now, using the hole that you placed into your bird feeder at the very beginning, as you can see mine there, you are going to please do this gently, you're going to very gently place your string through the hole, pull it through the other side, and just lay it back down. And you're just going to tie a knot at the end of your strings. So you're just going to do a basic knot the two strings together, and you're done. Now it's ready to hang from your trees. So again, the longer the loop, the better, because that way it's going to be easier to hang to your tree branches. But yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and please, I really encourage you to send me photos of your bird feeders hanging in your trees at home. So thank you so much for joining, and I will see you next time.